I know exactly how it feels. You've probably got a hose in your hand right now, or you're about to go grab one, because that patch of lawn by the driveway has been the color of straw for weeks. It's incredibly frustrating. You've tried what makes sense, right? Watering feels like the only practical thing to do. So let's just start this explainer by taking a breath, and let me say this next part slowly. Stop watering it. Now, not because water is bad for your lawn, obviously it isn't, but because in this specific case, for the very specific yellow patch you might be looking at right now, water was never the actual problem, and every single gallon you've poured on that patch over the last few weeks has done exactly nothing to fix it. Here is the strange part about what's going on out there in your yard. Your grass isn't actually thirsty. It's getting plenty of water. What it is missing is something so small and so frequently overlooked that folks who have owned a lawn for 30 years have never once heard of it. The fix is actually sitting on a pharmacy shelf for the price of a candy bar, and we'll get to exactly what that is in just a minute. But to understand why water was never going to fix this and to keep you from wasting another summer gassing, let's start with a really simple, quick question. What actually makes grass green? And I don't mean saying grass is green because it's grass. I mean, if we zoom all the way in, right down to a cellular level, what produces that specific color? The answer is chlorophyll. There's a pigment inside every single blade of grass called chlorophyll, and it does two massive jobs at the exact same time. First, it makes the leaf green. Second, it captures sunlight so the plant can turn that sunlight into usable energy. And this is the absolutely crucial point. No chlorophyll means no green. But also, and this is the part most folks miss, no chlorophyll means no energy either. That yellow lawn out by your driveway isn't just an eyesore. It is a lawn that's slowly starving in broad daylight, even with your hose running right next to it. So, why would a plant just stop making chlorophyll? Well, there are really only three reasons, and only one of them has anything to do with water. Reason one is drought. The grass genuinely lacks water, and in that case, yes, a hose is the fix. Reason two is a lack of nitrogen, which is the building block fertilizer companies spend millions marketing to us. Nitrogen absolutely helps chlorophyll form. But reason three is the one nobody talks about. It's magnesium. Magnesium sits at the exact center of the chlorophyll molecule. It holds the entire structure together. Think of it like trying to build a car with every part except the engine. You can have the frame, the wheels, the seats, water, and nitrogen, creating a perfect-looking shell. But without that magnesium engine at the center, it goes absolutely nowhere. The plant simply cannot build the molecule that makes it green. Section 3, the grass blade test. Diagnose your yard. Now here is where this gets highly practical instead of just being interesting theory. I want you to actually go find out which one of these three issues you're dealing with. Because guessing wrong is exactly how practical, hardworking people end up watering a magnesium problem for an entire summer and wondering why nothing changes. So I want you to do this. Walk outside, pull one blade of yellow grass from that stubborn patch. Hold it up close to the light. Take your time. Look really closely at it. Now let's diagnose what you're holding. If the whole blade is evenly pale or yellow, top to bottom with absolutely no pattern to it at all, that's a nitrogen deficiency. That requires a completely different fix. If the blade is crispy and brown, not yellow, and it just cracks instead of springing back when you press it, well, that is genuine drought. Go ahead and water that one. But if you look closely and see a very specific pattern, if you see yellow filling the space between the veins of the blade, while the veins themselves stay a stubborn, distinct green, that is a lack of magnesium. It looks like a tiny green grid sitting on a yellow background. That pattern actually has a scientific name, intervenal chlorosis, and it brilliantly illustrates exactly what's happening. It is the single clearest fingerprint a lawn can leave you. It's the plant telling you, in the only language it has, exactly what it's missing. If you just did that test and you're holding a blade with that green grid pattern right now, keep listening. The rest of this explainer is made explicitly for you. Section 4, the $2 fix, the reveal and method. All right, let's talk about the solution. Here is the straightforward answer that doesn't involve buying a $50 bag of specialized chemicals. The fix is Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. It is the exact same white crystal powder that's been sitting in the bath aisle of your local pharmacy for over a century, right next to the bubble bath and the sore muscle soaks. It's not in the garden center. It's not in the hardware store. It's in the bath aisle. A standard 2-pound bag runs about $2 to $3, and depending on the size of your yard, that single bag is often enough to treat your entire front lawn. You aren't tricking the grass into looking greener, you're just handing it the exact missing piece it needs to build its own green pigment again. There are 2 ways to apply this. The fast method is a liquid spray. You'll want to dissolve exactly 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt into 1 gallon of warm water. The warm water just helps the crystals dissolve faster. Pour that mixture into a standard pump sprayer and coat the yellow area evenly. 1 gallon covers roughly 200 square feet, so a typical front yard might need 4 to 5 gallons total. Make sure you spray in the early morning or evening, never in the heat of the day, so the grass can actually absorb it before it evaporates. This feeds the blade directly, and you can see a visible color change in as little as 3 to 5 days. The patient method is a dry application. For this, you'll spread about 2 pounds of Epsom salt per 1,000 square feet using a regular broadcast spreader, the exact same one you use for grass seed. Set it to a medium-low rate. You want to make 2 passes running perpendicular to each other to ensure completely even coverage. Afterward, water it in lightly so those crystals dissolve down into the soil. This method takes a bit longer, about 5 to 7 days to show results, but the magnesium reaches much deeper into the root zone and the correction lasts longer. You can even do the liquid spray first for a fast fix and follow up a week later with this dry method to carry you through the rest of the season. Now, if you're wondering when you can stop staring at the yard waiting for something to happen, here's the timeline. Days 1 through 3, nothing visible happens above ground. The roots are doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Somewhere between day 3 and 5, you'll notice a slight recession of that sickly yellow tint, especially in the newest blades. And by days 5 to 7, it becomes obvious. The intervenal pattern will fade out completely as the new chlorophyll fills in, leaving you with genuinely green grass. It's worth looking at what this actually costs you versus the alternative. A professional lawn green-up treatment typically runs between $150 and $200 a visit. If you read the ingredients on those commercial sprays, more often than not, magnesium is sitting right there on the list. It's just diluted into a proprietary blend with a brand name and a massive markup. You can get roughly the same active ingredient for $2 or $3 from a shelf you already walk past. Section 5, the honest disclaimer, what not to do. I want to slow down for a second here, because I'd rather you trust what I say than just blindly agree with it. Epsom salt is not magic. It is not going to green up every yellow lawn on Earth. It only works when your soil is actually short on magnesium. Now, a lot of soils genuinely are, especially sandy soils, acidic soils, or lawns in regions where heavy rain washes magnesium out of the ground. But if your soil already has plenty, adding more won't make it greener. It'll just sit there. That's why that blade test we talked about earlier is so critical. There is also one very important warning before you try this. Please do not exceed the amounts I gave you, thinking that a heavier dose will work faster. It won't. Excess magnesium in soil actually interferes with the plant's ability to absorb calcium, and calcium is what keeps grass blades structurally strong. Too much magnesium leads to weak, floppy grass that is prone to disease. Stick to the exact recipe. Also, if you have a dog that likes to graze on your grass, keep them off the treated area until rainfall or your sprinkler rinses the surface crystals away. The salty taste can be tempting to dogs, and too much of it can upset their stomach. Section 6. The yard you want. Final thoughts. Ultimately, that yellow patch by your driveway isn't just an eyesore. It is the spot the neighbors notice first. It's the one you find yourself glaring at every single time you pull in. It's the one small, frustrating thing standing between the yard you currently have and the yard you actually just want to sit out in and enjoy on a quiet summer evening. So don't guess. Go pull that blade of grass right now while this is all fresh in your mind. Check for the pattern. If you see that green grid on a yellow background, you already know exactly what $2 bag to pick up on your next errand run and exactly how to use it. If this is the first explainer of mine you've caught, I've got a whole series that solves the other pieces of a great lawn, dealing with weeds, brown patches, and exactly what to feed the grass once it's green again. I'd love for you to subscribe so you don't miss them. And before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, when you checked your blade of grass just now, did you see the green vein pattern or was it something else? I read every one, and I genuinely want to know how many of you are dealing with the exact same hidden problem we just solved. Take care of that lawn, and I'll see you in the next one.